Okay, recording this video on Sunday, the 17th of December, 2023. Just got 9:25 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend and time for another weekend futures market recap, where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. And what a week that was. Most important thing this week was the FOMC notes. And the market just took off, and it felt exponential this week, where the market just goes a little bit vertical. We're starting to see some professional profit taking in the lower time frames, so I'm going to show you those on the charts. We're going to start with the Emini charts as per normal, going down from the daily all the way down to the 15-minute and then the 13,500 bar chart. Then we're going to spin around the 15 futures markets and have a look at the signals that have generated this last week. So we're using the better indicators on the traditional view, where we got two charts side by side, everything to do with volume on the left hand side, everything to do with price on the right hand side. When price and volume are both moving in the same direction, the background is printed in red for an uptrend and gray for a downtrend. You can see after our exhaustion sell signal down here where we bounced, so what do we bounce now? Almost 550 points or so to the upside, which is pretty dramatic. And we just keep on breaking through these resistances. There's the daily lowest time frame resistance we busted through. The intermediate time frame on the daily chart we busted through, and we're looking at 4,800 up here. So the background's in red. That means confirmed uptrend in terms of price and volume. And as we go through the charts, all of them are showing the same pattern. But we got to look for the blow-off move with the professionals coming in. We can start to see that on, I think, the 15-minute chart and the 13,500 chart. So we'll go down to those. So next chart to look at, the 135-minute chart. Exactly 3 135-minute bars in a day session of the E-mini. And the background's in red as per normal. And here are the resistance lines that we've just busted through. The low, the intermediate, and the highest time frame here. We've sliced through each of these as we're heading higher. So this week, as we were breaking up, we started to see rainbow patterns, and that's the FOMC day where things went just haywire. The low of that sequence didn't get broken. That's what I'm always looking for when we see rainbow patterns there. It shows that the move is being led by the amateurs, or there's not a lot of trading volume going through. And the low of that amateur sequence is always a point of reference. But background's in red. Still looking like an uptrend. On this chart, at least, there's nothing to suggest we're stopping here. We've got no blue professional bars. We've got no exhaustion buy. We've got no end of trends on better sine waves. So the 135 chart is still pretty strong. For this thing to turn around into a proper downtrend, we'd have to see all kinds of end of trend signals go off on all of these lower time frames here on this chart. 45-minute chart, again, background is in red. You can see we've busted through all of these resistances on the intermediate and the highest time frame. We've got to go see at least a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame here. We had little end of trends go off on the lowest time frame, showing us a left shoulder. So we could see some weakness where we drop off on this chart, on the 45-minute chart, put in a pullback support level on the intermediate time frame, and then go back up to test into that 4,800. We've got some professional profit taking here. Last weekend I was talking about these levels, and the low of those amateur sequence was really important. That low was 46.44. That was the support level that I was looking at last weekend. If that got broken to the downside, we were going to run into a little bit of trouble. But no, at the beginning of the week we started off with some rainbow patterns, and we just kept on going until we had that extraordinary move, FOMC, and then the day after we had all of those blue professional bars come in with flush patterns going off. So we're starting to see a little bit of rolling over on the 45-minute chart here. Next chart down, 15-minute chart. And we mark the beginnings and the ends of the weeks with these solid yellow vertical lines. So into the close last weekend, we had those rainbow patterns, which was showing weakness. But this weekend, all the blue professional bars coming in with an exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. So that for me is super important. That's the first time that we've seen professional profit taking. Every time we had blue professional bars, that area was holding here at 4,600, and we've just cruised higher to the next area where we see blue professional bars coming in, and that's a nice little cluster of them up there. It's also a pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame here, and at the moment we're putting in a pullback to end of trend sequence on that 15-minute chart there, and then we'll drop off and find support on the highest time frame, because the last time we had that was down at 4,300, where we busted through that into an uptrend on the highest time frame here. So I'm going to say that we're going to have a little bit of weakness until we get those supports come in, and then we'll push back up test into the 4800 level, and then let's see where it goes from there. Then lastly, the tip bar chart, the 13,500 tip bar chart. Again, beginning of the week, end of the week. There are the Rambo patterns at the end of last week. Cruised on through there. You see the blue professional bars came in after the FOMC announcements, and then we've come back up to test. We've got bearish divergence. We've got a flush pattern up here. Definitely having trouble getting up through these areas here. On this tip bar chart, we've had a nice pullback to end of trend sequence on the lowest time frame. That shows a left shoulder with those exhaustion patterns. We put in pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame, showing the head of that move. And so now a drop through 47.57 here would give us confirmed downtrend that'll be caught when we get support on the highest time frame. So I'm looking for that to roll over. Everything's going to come in closer together for a triple signal here on the 13,500 tip bar chart. Remember, we need the blue professional bars at the highs and the trailing stop to be broken. We're overbought with the exhaustion buy, bearish divergence pattern there, and we're starting to break into a downtrend here with the bars turning white on better sine wave trend system. So finally, we've got these blue professional bars starting to come in on these lowest time frames. So the 13,500, the 15-minute chart, and the 45-minute chart here. So we haven't seen a cluster like that up here at the highs for a while with an exhaustion pattern and bearish divergence. So it does mean that we're likely to see a little bit of profit taking. But we've run so far on all of these charts, we're above this highest time frame here, which means we've got to put in a pullback support on that highest time frame and run all the way to an end of trend. Same on the 15-minute chart, it's miles away, so we've got to put in that level. And the 45-minute chart, same thing. We're miles above the resistance on the highest time frame, so we've got to put in that pullback to end of trend. And I think that's going to be the story, that rolling over process as we come into Christmas and the beginning of the year, to see that all play itself out. So I think that means good trending moves during the day in both directions for the foreseeable future until we get that topping out pattern. But I wouldn't be taking big short positions quite yet until all of that energy has played itself out with all of those pullback to end of trends rippling through each of those time frames. So there we go, E-mini charts. Let's look at some of the tip bar charts for the signals. And not a lot going on the Forex charts. We had nice moves this week, all triggered off the FOMC stuff. This is the Euro chart down here. Yet we had all these signs of strength as the market took off here. But we did not have an exhaustion sell pattern down at the lows to trigger a triple signal. We need all three conditions. The blue professional bars came in, we broke the trailing stop, that was nice. We were oversold with the background in red, and all we were looking for was this exhaustion sell pattern and a bullish divergence. We didn't get that down there at the lows. So that's Euro. British pound, so yep, same thing. So we had signals like there last week short, but down here at the lows we had two of the three conditions, but not all three, so we didn't signal a triple. Quite a lot of selling actually at the end of Friday on the Euro and the British pound. So going to be interested to see if these blue professional bars hold at some point and trigger back up, because there's no blue professional bars at the highs on this sequence taking profits. They're getting in when the market at 110, nice round number, a lot of people taking profits there on a target, and then the blue professional bars are coming in here on the dip. So it's not been professionals selling at those highs. I would say that's professionals picking it up on that nice move down. We're just waiting for it to test back up. So that's the British pound and the Euro. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, we had a short signal at the end of last week that ended with exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. No blue professional bars down there. This just took off like the Euro and the British pound to the upside. No signal long at that point. Japanese yen. Now, Japanese yen I find very interesting at the moment. So this is a nice triple signal beginning of the week. Exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. We're oversold, background in red. We break the trailing stop with the blue professional bars coming in at those lows. Blue professional bars pushing down, down, and down, and then finally gets broken. There's our triple signal. Nice sign of strength that comes in afterwards. Bang, we race away into this move up here. No blue professional bars taking profits. We've just had exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, but close on Friday, a whole cluster of blue professional bars kind of come in. I'm really interested to see if the Japanese yen is going to power up through 71s to 72s. So that's, for me, is going to be an interesting trade this week, and I'll be looking at the Japanese yen. Gold also had a nice move, took off to the upside, again driven by the FOMC, a whole bunch of blue professional bars buying through that breakout level there. We've had no blue professional bars taking profits here, but they've come in on the dip on the retrace. So that might be good for holding in that area and busting back up. Again, no triple signals down here because we didn't have exhaustion sell down at the lows. Triple signals went off at the last week, but not really in the right spot there. But this is interesting because that whole area of these blue professional bars buying in through 2020 here, bang, that breakout level is starting to hold here with this dip into that move. So let's see if gold holds that area and then breaks back up to recent highs. Silver, we did have signals a little bit early here. Nice one down here, nice one down here. Again, oversold, background in red. The blue professional bars coming in with the trailing stop being broken, and exhaustion sell bullish divergence, and there we get our triple signals. Again, no blue professional bars taking profits here. That exhaustion buy is getting the move going. So we're still in an uptrend on silver. And Bitcoin, yep, there we go. Super volatile. Look at these bars here. Yeah, we had triple signals at the end of last week, short, and then we had our exhaustion sell bullish divergence, a whole bunch of blue professional bars coming in on that move down. Really forced it down. That was a big move on that day. I think it was almost 10% down move, 7.5 or something like that, down move on Bitcoin down here. But that area has held, and we're coming back down to, the blue professional bars. Spiking blue professional bars are really important. There's a clear out trade where we just break the low of those blue professional bars just fractionally, and we're coming back into the zone. So let's see if we get some blue professional bars to pick it up here around the 41,500 level. And bust us up through 42s and 43s. So that's Bitcoin. Crude. Now, crude, we had signals at the end of last week, took another dip down into these lows. Wasn't a great signal here because we had some blue professional bars here, but didn't look right as like a sell-off pattern. And then here at these highs, we got blue professional bars that sold it down. So we're coming back up to test into that area where the blue professional bars are, around the 72.50. If that becomes an under the lip trade and we just bounce off that area and trade down through 71s, that'll be a continuation short this weakness that we've had in crude. And natural gas. Natural gas we've been trying to hold each time around, but finally this week it seems like we've had a little bit more success in holding. Blue professional bars come in here, and then we come down for another clear out trade below those lows, and then we're having some strength from there. So let's see if natural gas comes in with no blue professional bars as yet. So on the retrace, let's see if something happens there to hold any retrace that we're going through at the moment. Copper is actually looking pretty strong at the moment. We had signals last week here with our exhaustion sell, blue professional bars oversold. We crack above that, and that's good. We come in to test into this area, and then blue professional bars buy that breakout. There you can see they just bought everything in the stack there, and we've powered ahead. So we need to keep up above that region, the 385 region. And then the ags. So we got corn looking weak. Last week we had signals short. It's weakened from there. Step trade going on here where we've come back up. Blue professional bars come in here on that retrace, and the gap between the trailing stop on Better Pro-Am and the blue professional bars really tight. So let's see if that continues to sell off on corn. And soybeans tried to hold last week, raced away a little bit, come back down into the zone. Not a lot in terms of blue professional bars. There's one going on here. I don't know, not a classic there in terms of soybeans. And lastly, wheat. Wheat signals short the end of last week, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, under the lip trade, bang, sells off. But just like the soybeans chart, the blue professional bar come in midway, and then another one come in at the highs. Let's see if that one gets broken to the downside and the trailing stop gets broken. We get continuation of this downtrend in wheat. So there we go. Quick rip around the charts. For me, the big story is we're just going to be playing around these highs for the next couple of weeks as the E-mini gets rid of all of that pullback to end of trend final patterns up in those highs before having a proper downtrending move. And Japanese yen, that's for me is the one that's looking most interesting this week to see if that continues to break up through 71, 72. That'll be interesting if that really takes off to the upside. So there we go. Hope your trading is going well and looking forward to the final week of trade before Christmas.